go. Okay, welcome back to your favorite vlog in FPV. Maybe your favorite vlog, period. I hope so. That being said, today we are talking about some FPV specific things. Specifically specific, my first KISS build. This is something that I've been kind of working off and on in between some of my other projects. There are a lot of great, really technical, detailed videos about setting up KISS and all that stuff. This video won't be one of them. This is just gonna be about my thoughts and experience using this for the first time. Wait, let me back up for a second. What am I even talking about? KISS. If you are less familiar with drones and mini quads, there are essentially 3 different ecosystems for flight control. There have been more that have come and gone, like Open Pilot and Clean Flight, but now there's essentially Beta Flight, KISS, and Race Flight. I primarily use Beta Flight. KISS has been around for a long time. It's made by Flyduino, and it's been ahead of its time. This gear is quite old, actually, and yet the performance is likely on par with the latest and greatest Betaflight and BL Heli stuff that I use. The performance of all 3 is pretty much like caught up. This video probably would have been a lot more interesting months or like a year ago, but I'm just getting around to it now because I've always been stuck on Betaflight, but I should really give KISS a shot so that I can just be more knowledgeable in general, but then also my hope is that then I can help people. I get comments and stuff about people wanting help with their KISS setup, and I'm like, I have no clue. I've never used it. So we're gonna change that. Today is positively a rainy, disgusting day. So this is a perfect opportunity to stay in, finish the last couple of steps, get this thing programmed and test hover it. I've been plugging away at the configurator here for a while now. I think I've got everything set up all right. It really shouldn't have taken that long. This is a pretty straightforward configurator. I'm just not familiar with it because I've been doing Betaflight for so long. This is definitely, I think, more straightforward than Betaflight, but I'm just not as familiar with it. So still figuring everything out, but I think I've got things right. I couldn't get the ESCs to flash because I think I need to upgrade the board's firmware as well, but I think I want to fly it once before I really flash anything anyways. So the motors are running down here, so that makes me happy. I have to fix a couple of the motor directions. I'll just jump the jumper pads on the ESCs themselves. Things are looking good though. By the way, I would say it's an exceedingly bad idea to do your first test hover in such a confined area, especially on equipment that you're not familiar with. But seems to work, and I'm psyched to try it out. Good morning, I'm over it. I'm really excited to get out and fly the new KISS build today. Last night I spent some time playing with the rate. I went in with the goal of trying to make the rate curves match my Betaflight curves as closely as possible so I could have more of a direct comparison. And as I went in trying to get the curves and the max velocities to match each other, what I found is the numbers matched each other. I think within like 0.1 on a couple of the terms. Yeah, it seems that over time the Betaflight rate system has pretty much evolved to mirror the KISS system. I mean, I think that's how it went. I assume KISS was using this system before Betaflight. Okay, we're at a scraggle-filled park. I'm gonna do my best to not crash. right, it's actually been almost a week since this flight, and I'm just getting around to filming this next bit. Just got caught up with other stuff. I think I've put out like 2 or 3 other videos since filming the first half of this, which like I never do. And I've even like redone the lighting in here a little bit. Do you think it looks good? Check that up there and that down. Anyways, we'll come back to the lighting situation later, but as far as my KISS flight goes, it feels good. Like the rates feel exactly like what I'm used to. The drone definitely moves and responds just like I would expect. As far as performance goes, it was good. There were still some issues that I wouldn't call out of the ordinary, considering these were stock PID values. So I didn't actually tune the quad beyond the rates. When I worked the throttle, I felt like the pitch axis would bobble a little bit, more than what I would be used to from Betaflight, but I did feel like this was less prone to prop wash. I should say that any comparison I'm drawing to Betaflight is after like setting filters and playing a little bit with anti-gravity. So I will say that out of the box, without tuning anything, KISS flew exceptionally well. I will say though, there is a certain like harshness to the video, if that makes sense. I don't know, it's hard to say exactly what I'm picking up on. I mean, and the quad sounded different. I don't know if I mentioned that, but like when I took off, everything just kind of resonates differently. Just in kind of the way the movement looks. It's different from what I'm used to. I don't know, what I'm gonna do now is update the flight controller to the latest firmware, flash the ESCs to the latest firmware, and then we're gonna go back out again and fly it again, and then we'll continue to compare it. Okay, we're just scooting over to the passenger seat. I can never sit in the driver's seat when I'm gonna fly because the like steering wheel gets in the way. Anyways, the light is looking perfect today, so it's a little bit unfair because any footage I get today, I'm sure it's gonna look way better than on the other day where I flew, where it was like dreary and overcast. All right, I've got my laptop with me and everything because I might get into a little bit of tuning today. So last night what I did was I did all the setup up to the point where I would actually start tuning the PID values. So for KISS, what I found I had to do was turn on adaptive filtering, raise the loop time from the default, make sure it was set to D-Shot, which is an advantage of the new firmware, set the switches, and plug back in the rates that I had already figured out. So in the KISS interface, I found that all that stuff was fairly straightforward and easy to get done pretty quickly. Again, the only hang up was me not being as familiar with the system. Are you noticing like little twitches? Like right there, that was definitely one, right? Okay, that just straight up took me out. What the? I thought when I was flying it, something felt weird. I'm gonna do my best to show this. Oh, see that? Oh. I don't know, could you see that? Ah, look, okay. This ESC just let out all the magic smoke. Well, it was kind of unfortunate. So I don't know what happened there. A little bit of a fire. You can see that. Sucks, dude. I like never make videos like this. I definitely shy away from topics in my vlogs that are, say, like overly technical. I like to get into it a little bit, but for the most part, I like to keep things on kind of like the fun and entertaining side. But I'm like, okay, let's try and do a video where we really like dig into like the tech here, but you know, still make it fun and artsy, and we get a fire. I don't know, man. You know, people definitely get into the camp mentalities between the like systems that they use, whether it's Betaflight or KISS or Raceflight, and I really try to kind of stay out of that and really just think that, you know, whatever works for you, even though I predominantly use Betaflight. So please don't let this influence you to think that like all KISS is bad. I mean, issues like this is a weird hobby, and that we just buy circuit boards with little to no packaging or instructions and then go online and sort of figure out how to piece this stuff together. So yeah, I mean, like weird stuff is gonna happen. Betaflight has always worked really well for me, that's fine and all, but KISS has worked really well for tons of other pilots. Like some really good pilots that I respect use KISS exclusively. Maybe one of them can tell me what I did wrong. Maybe I flashed the wrong ESC firmware. I just used the newest thing though. Looking at you, Final Glide, if you know something I did wrong, let me know. I guess I didn't get to the conclusion of seeing what I think of KISS once I really put in the effort to make it fly as good or maybe even better than my Betaflight builds. But I did get to gain some experience using the configurator, which I will say I think it's more intuitive. Like I think it's a very friendly interface, and it's kind of easier to figure out what you have to do, and there's just less stuff that you have to do in general to get it to a good like out of the box performer. Yeah, the like kind of plug and play, as plug and play as any of this stuff ever can be, experience I had was pretty good, but definitely needed some tuning, as any firmware or system would, and yeah, we didn't get to that point. So this was still a fun experiment. If you're familiar with my flying, if you saw anything different from the flying that I was able to get in this video, let me know what you saw. Let me know what you think. I'm definitely not going to write off the KISS system altogether. I will probably replace that ESC at some point, but I don't know, as long as I have to do surgery, maybe I'll replace that stuff with Raceflight. Thanks for going along on this little experiment with me. Always appreciate you hanging out, and I will see you next time.